Welcome to the world debut of the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia full-size three-row family SUV. It's been almost 15 years since the last generation of the Sequoia was introduced. In this video, I'm going to tell you all the specifications we know right now. I can show you actually several different trim levels of this new Sequoia and tell you as much about it as we possibly can. So let's dig in right now. What I'm showing you on the screen is the all-new top-of-the-line Capstone Edition Sequoia. It's the full luxury model, but Toyota is going to offer a whole breadth of trim levels, starting with the SR5, the Limited. Of course, there is also the Tundra Pro, which is great news for off-road enthusiasts. And then finally, the Capstone is the top-end luxury truck. And here's a big piece of news. The new Sequoia that's going to be available for sale in the summer of this year, of 2022, is all hybrid all the time. So the only powertrain you'll be able to get in this new Sequoia, at least initially, will be the 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 with an electric motor. So it's the latest iForce Max hybrid powertrain, which is both powerful and should be relatively efficient. The MPG ratings are not available yet, but we have the power ratings and much, much more. So let's start with this one on the screen, which is the limited edition. And basically, I don't have any images for the SR5, but the Limited is basically kind of in the middle of the range for Toyota and for Sequoia. And you can kind of see in some of these images that the new Sequoia is basically the Tundra of SUVs. So it rides on the same chassis as the new Tundra, basically very, very similar with the suspension and the frame. It has very similar interior, and it's not a bad thing because the new Tundra's interior is way above where it was in the previous generation. And as you can see here, the Limited will be available with a 14-inch infotainment screen, a digital gauge cluster of 12.3 inches in diagonal, and many, many different materials, including a panoramic sunroof that's also available on this new Sequoia. Under the hood, like I said, is the hybrid powertrain with 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. This is the combined power. MPGs are not available yet, but the hybrid Tundra will be on sale actually in the spring of this year, so you can get a taste of that powertrain sooner than the Sequoia, but then in the summer, the Sequoia will launch full speed. In the back seat, in the second row, you'll be able to have two different options. A bench seat, like you can see in this image, or captain chairs. And of course, the higher you go on the trim levels, the more luxurious you can get. And also you'll be able to get heated seats in the second row as well. The third row is one of the most versatile available in the three-row full-size SUV. You can see several images of it right here. Of course, this SUV can accommodate up to 8 people, so 2 in the front, 3 people in the middle row, and 3 people in the way back third row. And the third row will be able to slide back and forth, so you can provide a little bit more cargo space. It's a 40-60 split, or a little bit more room for the passengers. So you can decide, and it has a very unique shelf system in the back as well. And what's up with this shelf system? Well, this Sequoia has the solid rear axle, multi-link rear suspension. So it's unlike some of the other SUVs on the market, like the segment-leading bestseller Chevy Tahoe. There's, of course, also the Ford Expedition, the Nissan Armada, and several others, including the GMC and the rest. And all those SUVs now are switching to independent rear suspension to bring the floor lower and to offer more cargo space and people's room in the back. Well, Toyota is not doing this. Toyota is going more trucky route and offering the solid rear axle and also very, very competitive towing that I'll mention in a second. But this shelf system also makes it so you can get a flat load floor, or maybe if you're using it for camping, maybe a flat just sleeping arrangement in the back of your SUV if you're using it as an overlander. So it's a very unique system. I haven't seen anything like this from any other SUV before. So I can't wait to actually climb inside of this thing and see exactly what kind of room it offers. And you can see here the 40-60 split in the rear seat. So let's move on to the next trim level I can show you, which is the TRD Pro. I'm very excited that Toyota is doing this because TRD Pro has been a part of the Sequoia lineup already. And of course, it stretches into the 4Runner and other pickup trucks like the Tacoma and the Tundra. So it's back here for the all-new Sequoia. And it looks kind of like a Tundra in the front, but in the rear, it has this unique SUV style, and I kind of like it personally. That's my first impression, especially those big, large tail lamps and kind of a squared and chiseled kind of rear section of this SUV. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this new style. Is it too much like a Tundra? Does it have its own character? And of course, big letters in the back spell out Sequoia. And I'm here on location in California, in Northern California, actually near redwood forests. So it's pretty interesting. So here, the TRD Pro will have very similar suspension to the Tundra truck that's coming out in the spring, including the Fox suspension, the forged wheels, and many other attributes, including those amber lights, marker lights. And because it's going to be a pretty wide vehicle, just over 80 inches wide for the TRD Pro version. And of course, it will have, really good aggressive off-road tires. So if you want a full family 3-row off-roader, kind of a light off-roader, you have it right here. Also, that roof rack on top allows more storage possibilities for you. And of course, that LED light in the center as well. So the TRD Pro is coming. Then I mentioned already the Capstone edition of the Sequoia. Here's a few images and some information about it. This is brand new for Sequoia. This is the next level of luxury for Toyota. They just introduced the Tundra Capstone. Now the Sequoia Capstone is here. And it's also riding on 22-inch wheels. Very premium exterior. For example, this red color you can see here. And a similar exterior style, but just a few touches of chrome, especially in the back here on the hatch and the bumper covers. But the interior, of course, is where everything changes. And across the board, this is basically very similar, at least in the front, to the Tundra interior, which is a great thing, once again, because the Tundra style is brand new. And now the Sequoia is benefiting from a lot of the same technology, including the powertrain that I mentioned, and now the interior. Just look at this, at this Capstone interior with accent lighting, walnut wood, very, very top shelf leather surrounds on the seats and on the dashboard. So all those features are coming to the Sequoia. The Tundra can tow up to about 12,000 pounds, but obviously this is an SUV, it's a little bit shorter, but still has a very stout frame, like I was mentioning, and stout suspension system. 9,000 pounds is actually more than most Chevy Tahoe's ratings, so that's a good thing. But it's not more than the top-level Ford Expedition rating of about 9,300 pounds for a two-wheel drive Ford Expedition, or the new Jeep Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer that can tow up to 10,000 pounds. So Toyota increased their towing by about 20% from where it was before, but it's still, not at the top level. So still, 9,000 pounds, you can bring a large Airstream trailer, large boat, and, a lot of people along with it if you have enough payload. So you have to be mindful, of course, of your payload ratings. You can see here also that it has a lot of aerodynamic devices, slightly smaller grille than in the truck. And of course, that's for efficiency. MPGs are not available quite yet, like I said. Also, pricing is not yet available. But I wanted to show you this as well. Pricing on the new 2022 Tahoe, as of right now, starts at about $50,200. The pricing on the Expedition will be similar, and the Ford Expedition also now have this off-road worthy Timberline edition. And of course, they're increasing their luxury and their power. The Expedition will have their high output twin turbocharged EcoBoost engine with about 440 horsepower. So yes, even though the Sequoia hybrid has a lot of power and the gobs of torque, it's not alone because the Tahoe is also available with a 6.2 liter V8. And as far as value is concerned, for example, the Armada starts at $48,900. So this is a very tough segment. Toyota really needs to get it right as far as their trim levels, their capability. It looks like they're on their way, but we still don't know a couple of things, like I said, like price and economy. But I think as long as they can nail the starting prices, their luxury features that I think are there, and their towing capability that's actually better than the Armada, I think it'll be a success in the marketplace. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's a good thing that the all-new Sequoia is here, or maybe it's a little bit too late to the game? Let me know in the comments below, and go back to TFLtruck.com and TFL-studios.com for all the latest coverage. I'm also going to have interviews with the engineers about the new Sequoia and also the world debut in person of this new SUV. So thank you for joining me as always.